Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Except for the faint beep of monitors and the gentle hum of fluorescent lights overhead, the room was silent. With her dark hair falling over her shoulders and her hands resting absently on her expanding abdomen, Jasmine sat upright on the hospital bed. Even though her face was a little pale, she exuded a certain glow that was a combination of nervous excitement and the undeniable presence of new life developing inside of her. Matt was pacing frantically across the room. His every motion was tinged with anxiety, making him a bundle of nerves. He walked quickly and erratically, raking his hands through his already disheveled hair. He would occasionally look at Jasmine, as if to make sure she was still there and doing good. Finally breaking the silence, Jasmine murmured, "You're making me more dizzy than the fainting did this morning." Although she spoke softly, her voice was full of her trademark wit. Matt paused his pacing and fixed her with his hazel gaze. "I apologize, Jasmine. How are you able to be so composed at this moment? You passed out. That's not typical. What if there's a problem? What if?" With a slight smile on her face, Jasmine held up a hand to interrupt him. "It's going to be all right, Matt. It is merely a checkup. I promise you that the baby and I are stronger than we appear." Matt didn't appear persuaded. He started to argue further, but the door creaked open before he could finish. As Dr. Martinez entered, they both turned their heads toward the door. She was a tall, self-assured woman in her mid-40s whose gentle eyes immediately brought comfort to the atmosphere. "Jasmine, good afternoon." "Hello, Matt," she said in a composed and businesslike tone. As she walked to Jasmine's bedside, she shut the door behind her and looked down at the clipboard she was holding. Jasmine gave a kind grin. "Hello, doctor. We appreciate you seeing us so soon." But before the doctor could even sit down, Matt hurried forward. "Dr. Martinez, you must explain the situation to me. This morning she passed out. She hardly touched her breakfast and has been feeling queasy for days. It's not typical, is it?" The doctor calmed him with a gentle laugh and a raised hand. "I know you're worried, Matt, but let's take a deep breath. In actuality, Jasmine's symptoms are rather typical in the early stages of pregnancy." Matt's eyes widened slightly as he froze. "Common? Is fainting typical?" With a nod, Dr. Martinez raised a stool to take a seat nearer to Jasmine. "Particularly during the first trimester, it may be. Dizziness or fainting can be brought on by hormonal changes, elevated blood flow, or even low blood sugar. Although it's not out of the ordinary, it should be watched. How else are you feeling, Jasmine?" Jasmine gave a small shrug. "I feel a little queasy and exhausted, but otherwise well. I've been making an effort to sleep more." Unable to contain himself, Matt spoke up once more. "Almost fine? Doctor, she's being humble. She has been exerting herself excessively. At 3 a.m. last week, she completely rearranged the kitchen." Matt got a flirtatious gaze from Jasmine as she flushed. "All I wanted was for everything to be tidy." "You mean nesting instincts?" Dr. Martinez laughed and gave a knowing nod. "Jasmine, it's rather typical, but it's crucial to strike a balance. As important as staying active is getting enough sleep. It's acceptable to take your time because your body is working hard right now. Your vitals appear to be in fantastic condition, and the baby is developing nicely. Everything ought to be all right as long as you eat healthily, drink enough of water, and stay stress-free." With an audible exhale, Matt's shoulders began to relax. "You mean there's nothing to be concerned about?" Dr. Martinez grinned broadly. "That's correct. You two are doing well. However, Jasmine, don't be afraid to come in if you ever feel faint or ill. And try to unwind, Matt. Stress isn't good for anyone." Jasmine leaned back against her cushions and grinned. "Do you hear that, Matt? You should calm down," the doctor advised. Matt gave her a glance, yet a smile flickered across his lips. "When you stop worrying about me, I'll relax." Tucking her clipboard under her arm, Dr. Martinez got up from her stool. "The two of you will be fine. Keep in mind that you are all in this together. Support one another, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it." The room became silent once more as the doctor departed. At last, Matt took Jasmine's hand in his and sat down next to her. His hold was somewhat tighter than usual, but his fingers were steady and warm. He looked at their entwined hands and whispered softly, "I apologize for freaking out. Never in my life have I felt this way. Never in my life have I cared so much for somebody. Jasmine, I can't let you go." Jasmine's face became softer. Her free hand reached out to cup his cheek as she turned to face him. "I'm not going to leave you, Matt. Remember, we are a team. This tiny one, myself, and you." A tiny, gentle grin came to her face as she looked down at her stomach. For a few period, Matt merely gazed at her belly in wonder as his eyes followed hers. "It's insane, isn't it? An entire individual is contained within." "Amazing and crazy," Jasmine concurred. With a satisfied sigh, she rested her head on his shoulder. "Matt, we're going to be fine. I swear." Holding her close, Matt put an arm around her shoulders. "I think you're real, but we'll be back here if you sneeze odd, okay?" Jasmine's laughter reverberated around the room, dispelling any remaining anxiety. "Agree, but you must quit treating me like a piece of glass, Matt. I'm more powerful than I appear." His smile softened as he kissed the top of her head. "I understand, but you will always be a concern of mine. That is simply a part of the agreement." The faint sound of the monitors faded into the background as the two of them sat together in the silent hospital room. Although their concerns had not ended, they felt prepared to face whatever lay ahead, together. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.